back to the Talking Wolves podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cooper, and today we're joined by three Talking Wolves regulars. We'll start with the main man himself, Dave Azzopardi. Dave, Wolves still managerless. How are you feeling? Do you feel like it could be your chance? Do you think you're working your way down the short list?
You know what? 1-0 win yesterday for the Sunday League team. Last kick of the game. So we're not scoring. We're scoring a little bit more than Wolves. We're not quite there yet, but who knows? But I'm all good, mate. All good. Bar Wolves. I'm keeping well, mate.
Oh, I know we spoke earlier. You went on another podcast today, and I said to you, are you just not bored about talking about Wolves, especially when the shit? Because I even hate talking about it in the pub when we're rubbish. Is that how you feel at the minute?
Yeah, but you lot know I'm like the most over positive Wolves fan going. So when things aren't going well and I've got to try and put a positive spin on it, it's quite hard. So I had some of your dars in my mentions, bringing up comments that I said we were too good to go down in the summer. So. Yeah, kept off social media for most of this weekend.
I know someone tweeted me saying I thought Wolves at the start of the season going down was laughable. And I went, who said that? I went, your mate Dave. I went, tweet him then instead of me. Dear. But mate, only 9 games in. It's only been played at testimonial pace for the first 9. So hopefully once the new manager comes in, Mr. Azzopardi, we might see some better luck. Jord, how are you keeping, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Getting there. You know, like Dave said, Wolves are shit, but I don't really feel like...
I didn't say that, by the way.
I'll play it. So positive. There you go.
Finn, you all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right as well, thanks. Yeah, all good. I'm rooting for Dave.
After a fly already, aren't we? Jesus. And he asked if he's all right. Oh, dearie, mate. We'll be looking back at the Chelsea game from last Saturday. We're previewing the Forest game. We're looking at the Betmate pot. Little discussion on Wolves' new manager. Hopefully not talking about the old one for George's blood pressure's sake. A couple of parish notices and then your questions. But Dave, I'll start with the Chelsea game on Saturday at Stamford Bridge. 3 changes. Gomez, Costa and Adama coming in. Quite a few injuries and suspensions. No Neves, no Collins, no Neto as well after the ankle ligament injury. Were you happy with the lineup when you first saw it come out?
Yeah, I thought it was quite positive. I was happy to see the changes. To see us actually. I was sort of on Wednesday, Thursday going through my head thinking, how are we actually going to start this game? Because yes, we could go 4-2-3-1, but maybe is that a little bit too attacking at Stamford Bridge? Could we revert back to a back 5? So I was pleasantly surprised. We'd seen Diego Costa come in, Adama, who I've been sort of hoping to get more minutes recently, and obviously a proper defender next to Kilman, or on paper a proper centre half. And then when the Chelsea lineup came out as well, I thought people were like thinking, hold on, we might have a chance here because Graham Potter had rested a large number of players. It's a slightly rotated team for them. But unfortunately, it was just same old Wolves and copy and paste whatever we've said for the last 6, 7, 8 weeks. It pretty much is the same for this game again, where we just didn't get going, never looked like scoring a goal, and quite frustrating. I know I said on the review that because I thought we played a little bit better in the second half, and sort of when their third goal went in, I thought, did they deserve that? And I said, I sort of said, I think this result flatters them. And then I went on Twitter and people were saying, flipping heck, how have we only lost that 3-0? I was like, oh, right, okay. So maybe I've sort of, again, put my positive Wolves hat on for that one. But yeah, it was just, I always said it was a free hit on the preview. And I had a couple of people moan at me for that. But I think I've seen a lot of people say it on social media as well. I don't think people could have seriously gone into that game with such a crazy week that we had, thinking that we're going to go and beat Chelsea comfortably. I never thought that was going to happen. And I think we know that the season will begin if, fingers crossed, we do. We go and beat Forest next week.
Yeah. Finn, did you manage to go to the game? I can't remember what you said.
Yeah, I was there and felt the same on the coach down, really, that we didn't have a chance. Then I saw the teams, more Chelsea's team than ours, and then had a little bit of promise. I didn't really rate. I think, like what David said, what people were saying, how did they not score more? I think if you had Aubameyang, maybe not Sterling, on previous comments I've said, but as in they had like Havertz, Pulisic, Mount. I don't really rate them as finishers, so I think it could have been a lot more if their like first team was playing. They made 7 changes, didn't they? So I was very, very negative going to the game. Again, the London traffic. I think this combination of train strikes and London it's a nightmare. It took a long time to get there again and wasn't worth it again in the end. But as you say, I think the season starts next week, hopefully, and these journeys will be worth it.
Do you not rate Christian Pulisic?
No.
He's a LeBron James of soccer, though. So how can you? He's like the Phenom, right?
It's a good finish, to be fair. I mean, Star made it easy for him, but no, I still don't rate him. They're all frauds.
The thing is, though, like if anyone's struggling for confidence or anyone's looking for the first goal of the season, then just rock up at Molineux or we'll come to town and we'll let you do it. It's been a few occasions this season, but yeah, I think you're right. I think that maybe Chelsea making changes. I think with one eye on the Milan game, which is on Wednesday. I think perhaps Graham Potter is looking to rest a few. But Jord, I'll come to you on this because I feel like I might be able to talk a little bit more openly about this. But no one expected the win, but it was completely bollockless, weren't it?
Yeah, set me up for it. No, I generally feel
you can
like
disagree. You can say no. I don't think it was bollockless. I thought it was a great performance.
Utter.
Yeah, I'm trying to swear less. I'm trying to swear less on these podcasts. But no, I just feel like it's the same old problem with Wolves. And granted, we had a few players out that we knew about. And I don't like the free analogy, but in reality, it probably was with all the turmoil we've gone through. And we're just spineless, aren't we? I felt like, we were lucky. We were still in the game in the first half. And I know Nunes had that. It was a good move when he got on the end of a Troy cross. And I can't remember now who played. Was it Podence who played that hospital pass to Costa when he was like simple ball and Costa tripped over the ball and stuff? And like we're having little moments. And I thought, as long as you stay in the game here, let's say Chelsea weren't exactly on all cylinders. They were, a bit of a mismatched team, and we were in the game. I thought, granted, we were second best in that game, but as soon as that first goal went in, you just see the confidence seep out the team, and like we just. Anytime it gets a bit tough, we fold. Like we completely and utterly fold. And again, I'm not saying this is a big game against Chelsea or a must-win game, but those moments where we have to stand up and take account for ourselves. I don't think we win these big games or these big moments that we're in. And as soon as we went 1-0 down, it was only ever going to be 3 or 4-0. Confidence seeped out the team, and there was a lot of things that happened after that goal which I really didn't like. We'll talk about in a bit, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, ball retention in the first half, couldn't pass wind. It was awful. Maybe, I don't know, Dave, not having Neves in there won't help that, but it was like half of them had never kicked a ball in their life.
Yeah, it was frustrating. I think the one thing that you've got to do against these teams is try and, or not give up possession so easily. You just want to keep possession of the ball. It's weird because we've done that fairly well this season. That's one of the only positives from the season is that we have kept the ball quite well, and I'm not sure what went wrong, but we did have those sort of half chances. I think like George said, if we went into half time at 0-0, it could have been a completely different game, but we had those half chances. I think Nunes created that chance where we made that run forward, and just one or two little moments, and then obviously that we saw the sub at half time. I think, that was, might come on to talk about Guedes a bit more, but I think that was, I don't know if that was a fitness issue because I saw rumours that there was a couple of players that aren't fit enough to play a full 90, or if that was just Steve Davis almost, or James Collins putting their authority on the team saying, look, that wasn't good enough.
Yeah, it was, let's talk about Guedes. He was wank. He was absolutely awful. And if I'm being totally honest, apart from Spurs away for the first half, he's been shit all season. Finn, he's not looking like a 25 million, 27 million pound player at the minute, is he?
No, not yet. And I do want to see him more. I'm not making excuses. He was horrendous, but I do want to see him more centrally because he wasn't exactly pulling up trees. I mean, I look back in his career, you forget he was at PSG and teams like this and wasn't really doing anything. He's sort of fallen downwards everywhere he's been, and he's ended up at Wolves in the relegation zone, so it's carried on. But that up spike was at the end of his Valencia time where they played him as a second striker. So I'm not necessarily seeing him as a winger, but yeah, I don't want to make excuses. It could very well be that he isn't fit, and we may get into that a little bit more. But yeah, very, very poor. And it felt the whole game felt a little bit like. Do you remember that first season when we nicked to 1-1? It was nearly a 1-0 win when it was the Jimenez and Jota goal.
Yeah,
it felt like that sort of first half, where it was like, well, up until the very last second of the first half, whereas we're defending okay. And if we could have just nicked one, but I didn't feel like there was anyone up there. When I'm saying, oh, Guedes could be the next Jota, there was no one up there like that with the Jimenez and Jota combo. We're missing something like that to be able to nick a goal. And 3 all season, it's a real problem.
Yeah, Johnny was getting an absolute tatering on that right-hand side as well. Right-hand side, because Guedes wasn't tracking back at all. Yeah. He was just walking back and ambling back. Like, George, if it's fitness, he shouldn't be playing. But if it's his attitude and mentality, he's nowhere near good enough, is it? We don't know. But to me, it looked like a player who couldn't be asked.
Yeah, but I'm a little bit sceptical to piling on him. There's been a lot of social media stuff, and like Wolves fans love a scapegoat, and I feel like there's a lot of issues with Wolves at the moment. And Guedes, he's not performing at any sort of level. A lot of them aren't, are they? And I feel like if what's come out is true, that he's like half fit, and he shouldn't be on the pitch, should he? Like, if he's half fit, just don't. I'd rather see. I said it last week about Chem Campbell not starting or should be playing, but I'd rather see just Chem, if he's fit, play him. Like, and this was the whole thing with Neves playing centre half against West Ham. If you've got a player that can play that position, play him in the position. And I don't want to get on his back too much. It was the same with Trincao last season. It was the same with these sort of players. He might just be a confidence player, and there's just nothing. There's no confidence at the whole team at the moment. So I think there is a lot more to come from him, and I feel like. I know you said Tottenham first half. I thought he was very good, Tottenham first half. I thought he was all right against Man City as well in spells, because he was up against Stones, if you remember. I thought he played all right there and showed some glimpses. But like I say, the whole team hasn't been good enough all season. And it's alarming, to be honest with you. It's really alarming at the minute.
Yeah, like Finn said, he's not been prolific throughout his whole career. His best season was last season with 11 goals for Valencia, playing in a 4-4-2. Playing with that absolute cartels, Maxi Gomez up top, which I'd imagine may have been the Klodic's role. But that's, if Lopetegui's managed to come in, that's not really the formation that he plays either. He plays a 4-2-3-1. It's more, it's not really a number 10. It's more of an advancing midfielder. I'd imagine that'd probably be Nunes playing that if he does come in. But we shall see. Dave, first goal. Jose Sarr at fault again. Another player who's been poor last season. Maybe a victim of his own high standards last season, but it looks half the player he did from last season.
Yeah, I think that was his issue. He had such a good year last year, and we saw that with like the XG differences and so on. But yeah, I thought I didn't directly put the blame on him on social media, but I thought, what are you doing there? I don't think Havertz should win the header to start with, but he's just completely misjudged where he should be. And we see this, he's an eccentric goalkeeper who likes to come off his line, almost the polar opposite of Patricio, who always almost hugged his goal line, very rarely come off his goal line. Sometimes it's good, but sometimes it can get him in a bit of trouble. But not a clue what he's doing for this goal. But again, people having a moan at me for moaning about that. But I don't see who else you can blame for that, because he's just nowhere near the ball, just completely misjudges it.
It's just a punt into the box, and I don't know what he did something in the first half though, mate, where he rushed out and he was in absolutely no man's land. Lucky someone came on the cover. I thought he'd pad had disconnected or something, mate. I
was going to tag you in this tweet because some guy said, play football and then you'll understand what these things happen."
Resident goalkeeper expert.
Then he goes, "Playing goals, playing goal every week." Which, to be fair, it's not as high standard. I just play 9 aside. I do play in nets. What do you still play? Do you still play at school? I was like, mate, come on now. I know I look young. I left school 9 years ago.
I reckon he was on the wind up. So when they bring in what's the name on BT Sport just to agree with VAR, what's he called now?
On Sky Sports, the worst one. What's his name?
Peter Walton. Go to Peter Walton to just tell us.
Dermot Gallagher on Sky as well.
Yeah,
it's good because I don't know what the host's name on Sky, but he always has a proper to do with Dermot Gallagher.
Yeah, he's on TalkSport as well, and he's very much like you, Dave, middle of the road.
Yeah,
but yeah, I thought Sarr was at fault for that.
Defo.
Yeah, but at half time, like you said, we're going at 1-0 down. Absolute shitter, really. Backs to the wall stuff, but somehow managed to concede a sloppy goal. I think they'll be really disappointed to concede that. Guedes off, Joe Hodge on, Tim Spears, pants down. He absolutely loves him, doesn't he? He absolutely loves him. And Finn, I thought he played all right, mate. I thought he did the job.
Look, very, very tidy. Yeah, I was sort of people around were all. My dad thought it was Conor Ronan. I thought he's clearly very different colour hair, Paul. But no, yeah, a little midfielder came on, and there was whispers of who's he, and I'm going, he's Joe Hodge. Sounding very knowledgeable, but no, yeah, but it didn't do anything special, but everything very tidy. Didn't look out of his depth. I was quite impressed. Obviously, didn't impact the game in the way they might have wanted him to, but probably not going to against. I mean, you've got like Gallagher who's everywhere in that midfield and very like Ballon d'Or nominees somehow. Anyway, and Jorginho in that midfield. So for what he was tasked to do, I thought he did well. And yeah, there's no reason why he can't get a few more cameos. And yeah, I don't know where I'd place him, especially if we've got this new manager, where you place him in that three that he likes to play in midfield. Whether you'd want him,
you probably
more
don't.
Advanced. Yeah. But no, off the bench, decent option. Yeah, got a pedigree, came from Man City, didn't he? So promising, very promising.
It was nice to see a midfielder like make a pass and actually like follow it into the space, like try and just be a bit more advancing rather than sitting back and admiring it and getting a breather. I don't know what it is, Jord. I don't think this team look fit at all. Like, and we've seen it when we've like, and I don't know if it's instructions, but we've got an opportunity to counter, and it's like, no, we're all right. We'll just sit up camp. We're happy with that. We got the ball back.
Yeah, I just think this team aren't as good as. I think this team aren't as good as they think they are, and they aren't as good as what we think they are as well. Like, there's that old adage saying that football's not played on paper, and I think we've got a lot of talented footballers, but the cohesion, like say, the dirty work, the off the ball stuff, the running, the breaking the lines, none of them do it. None of them do it. It's just sort of, it's not on my feet. Shrug the shoulders, point, moan, berate. It's just like really poor to see. Like, you know, I think the attitude and application is shocking. And again, for me, another thing, I said it after the Bournemouth game, like the players were willing to, they were going to walk off the pitch at the end of that game again. Like, it's train strikes. People have travelled 4 or 5 hours delayed. Just, it doesn't take a lot to go over to the fans and just clap them or whatever, even if you don't mean it. And they were straight off again. I think they're all bollockers, like you said, Matt. I feel like no one at the moment in that team wants to take any accountability for what's going on, and you do need it. And again, not to sound like you dar, that was something that Conor Cody did do. He would take accountability. I know I've mentioned his name there. I'm not saying I want him back by all means, but before that, it was Dave Edwards, and I don't want him back either. I'm just making
Talking Balls exclusive breaking news, Jord Russell.
I'm just making a point. That's what I mean. Like, there's no accountability in this team. Like, I can't, you know, it's all that vanilla stuff. I think I put the post, was it Kilman after the game that the Wolves social media team, I shared it with in our group tonight. It was like, we go again next week. We don't want to hear that. Just fucking win a football game. Like,
true, it is true.
Yeah, it's not rubbish. It's like sanitized garbage. Just, we don't, yes, we do care, but just do it on the pitch. Show us something and we'll get behind you. Because at the minute, running patience is running really thin.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Kilman, because I personally think he's at fault for the third goal. David, I don't know about you. Looks like the man's running in treacle. I know Broy's no slouch, but it just looked like a bloke who was on his last legs.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good finish by Bro here, to be fair. And that was another thing I pointed out. And I think fully fit, our squad is very good. Obviously, we've got the injuries and suspensions, but then when you got Chelsea, who I know they rotated, but they had Sterling as an unused sub. They were able to bring a Aubameyang, Broha, these, good Premier League quality players off the bench. Where, no disrespect to Chem Campbell and Joe Hodge, we've got players that have barely kicked a ball in the Premier League before. So I think that was the sort of the level, not to sort of excuse the performance, but that was the level and difference in quality. But yeah, the goal, just too easy. We just gave him too much time and space to just curl it in nice and easy. But defensively, that's something, we started off this year quite well defensively, but the last 2 or 3 games, we have looked all over the place, really. And that's what a lot of people flagged up on Saturday, saying, we know we're not going to score many goals. But if you start leaking goals down the other end, that's when we're going to be put in a bit of trouble, really.
I know last season when Jose Sar's post-shot XG, post-save XG, post-shot XG was extremely high, and we're all saying it's not because we're good defensively. It's just Jose Sarr's having a freakish season, and we're going to be in trouble when our luck turns. And it looks like Jose Sarr under par, or maybe performing at a level that he's actually probably his level.
Did you see that thing? And you see that thing on social media that he went up to the fans and said his hand was broken.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's cap though.
Do you know what? I know the bloke. He's one of my friends from Cannock Wolves as well, so I should have done some research and asked him. I'll get that for next time. I've got his number, so I'll text him see what Sarr said.
But surely you wouldn't go to the fans and say, like, I'm struggling, I've broke my hand. It's just capping it, I think, surely.
I'll see what he said.
There can't be many goalkeepers playing with a broken. I've heard of broken fingers, you can quite easily just strap them up. But broken hand as a goalkeeper.
Remember when Carl Hakimi absolutely twatted the tactics board and broke his hand?
After David Davis bottled it,
Like, there's no way you can be playing with a broken hand. Like,
you wouldn't be able to move your hand, would you? Like,
well, like
depends how broken it is.
When boxers break their hands when they're boxing, like apparently, like the it feels like your whole hand freezes. So like it's really numb. So
cramped up, like
like I don't understand how you'd be able to catch a ball or.
It probably explains why he's been so shit.
Probably.
Can't blame him.
If you're Sarkic sitting on the bench after you've been Birmingham's Player of the Year last year, you're not getting in over a goalkeeper with one hand.
One hand.
After missing 4 months in the season as well.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I don't think it's true. And if it is true and he's playing for broken hand and Sarkic is fit, then all fingers are pointing at the medical team for probably the 900th time this week, because Twitter's been awash with articles and finger pointing and people not being fit for the jobs and stuff, which I was going to say let's discuss it on here, but none of us are medical professionals, so it's pointless. So I can't really.
Well, let's get someone off Twitter then, who clearly are.
Yeah. Steve, 44 from Bilston, works for Lookers Motors.
I love how it's always Bilston, the area that gets picked out.
There's nothing against Bilston, mate.
Generic English name, mid-40s, Bilston.
Maybe no hair. Potentially divorced.
Bold question mark. Yeah. Got a dog in his bio. Yep.
And a British flag. We've just lost like 95% of our viewership. Please come back. Nothing against Bilston, Britain, Bull people, or blokes called Steve. One positive though, Finn, was the Mateus Nunes run, which felt like a goal.
I cheered it like one, that free kick. It's the only thing that I've seen after the game, because again, it's another one where you don't watch Match of the Day or anything. But I remember it looking good in the flesh, and then obviously it's gone around a lot of like Liverpool pages, like he's coming next year. That run, it was unbelievable. Looked even better on the replay than it did in real life as well. But yeah, even it's just everything, and then it's the pass. I think it's the pass that's really topped it off for me. That one run, but yeah, in general played really well, which isn't good when like he's just putting himself in the shop window if the rest of us are doing so poorly, rest of the team, and then he's shining. But he's not necessarily massively stood out in every game, so that's promising to see. And like what Jord was saying about technically on paper, I think if Wolves went down, I think we'd be the most technically gifted squad ever to go down in the Prem. Like players like him around, it would be ridiculous. I can't think of any. If you lot have got any others to offer up, I can't think
100% being clipped up if we go down.
I know, but it's true. Even if we go down, like who is there ever that's gone down with such a gifted squad of players? It's just you haven't got, as George said, like those.
We're not going down,
attributes.
so we don't need to talk about it.
Do you not think?
We're not going down. We're not getting relegated.
Yeah. We'll see what he's saying this time next Monday after Forest spank us 3.
Even if we lose,
go for Forest
this weekend.
Go for Forest, number 10.
It'll take me another six games before I'd even contemplate thinking about it.
You're too positive, you are. You ain't got a fucking clue.
Nah, well, I put a tweet out on Saturday, and I might have had a few beers, and I don't think it was. I've just said I'm not worried yet, but we need a big reaction Saturday, and I mean a convincing win, not a 1-0.
No, I'll take a 1-0. I'll take a Willy Bobby.
No, it needs to be convincing because them lot are only. And I've got like 35 likes and 22 replies. I was like, oh boy. And I've got my quality filter turned on as well. So if anyone's being a cock, then I don't get to see it. And I turned it off and I was like, oh God, here we go. But I do think I'm not worried. I'm banking on a new manager bounce if they get him in at some point. But just a nod to the free Betmate pot that was for this game. It was a Talking Walls exclusive pot, and over 90 people joined. So fantastic to see so many people in there. Dave actually finished the highest.
Sounds surprised.
Because you shit. Finished the highest. He finished 10th. And then Jord in 52nd, who after having a big start to his Betmate career, has absolutely tailed off. Matt in 79th and Finn in 87th.
Turns out those warning signs, they were right, weren't they? Don't pick Adama and Costa. They were bang on.
Yeah, both of them started, but I mean, both weren't. I thought Adama did all right in spells. Cly 8 was the winner, who took home £25, so not bad for a free bet, was it? But big thanks to all those who joined in. And we'll have news on the Betmate pot once we've previewed the Forest game, which we'll come on to now, Jord. It's a big game, isn't it? It's probably our biggest game of the season so far. Two of the worst formed teams in the league. As I speak now on a Monday evening at 9 minutes past 8, I think it's 0-0 with their match against Villa. Forest have lost the last 5, but have scored double the amount of goals Wolves have in the Premier League this season. Neves back in, still no Collins, he's suspended. Just how big of a game is this already?
Massive, isn't it? It's as Never said, it's massive.
It's massive. It's massive.
Yeah, no, I'm generally petrified. I know you can be really confident. I'm genuinely petrified about Saturday. I feel like Forest could beat Villa now and be ahead of us in the league, and before going into that game. And you got the Morgan Gibbs White factor. You got Willy Bolly, and you know, I can guarantee now you are going to hear goal for Forest, number 10, Morgan Gibbs White.
Do you think he'll celebrate?
Is that what Dave Evans sounds like? Is it?
I think it's back to the original, back to the guys got back off his holiday, but that was a bad Dave Evans impression if it was. So sorry, Dave. I know you'll listen. Do I think he'll celebrate? Yeah. Absolutely. I think his dad will be waving cock out for the bank as well. Yeah. His dad will be giving the wanker signs, going, "That's what you get for Leeds away." No, I do think he would celebrate, to be honest with you. And I'm half. You know, I don't necessarily blame him either for some of the stick he's got.
I think he'll get booed, so that's why he'll celebrate.
I do as well. I think he's going to get booed. I do, yeah. I generally do. Why? Because we're Wolves fans and we just for people who
do you reckon Bolly will get booed?
Yeah, Bolly rightly should though.
Yeah, Bolly's got more of it.
Yeah. He'll get injured on the bench. He'll get shin splints or something anyway. No, but back to the game. Like, I am genuinely petrified. I feel like they've still got I feel like Steve Cooper's actually took a lot of flack because I don't think he's signed off on all these signings at all. But I don't know. I still feel they've got a couple of players that could hurt you a little bit. And we're exactly what you said already. We're the team who you want to play when you're banging to get a bit of confidence at the back. And they just know if they keep it quiet 15 minutes, Molyneux's going to get toxic. And everyone knows it will be. Especially if Lopetegui's not been appointed as well. It'll turn south quick.
Dave, are you nervous for Saturday? Do you think Wolves can get a result? It's strange, isn't it, that they've given Steve Cooper a new contract? We were only saying the day before, he probably won't be in charge for our game. They'll have a new manager bounce, but extended his deal seems a bit odd. Yeah,
they were on about when they played Leicester, whoever lost that game probably going to get sacked. Yeah. And it's I like it from one point of view, like a loyalty point of view, but it's interesting. But I don't often go into games nervous, but I think when I'm walking down to Molyneux on Saturday, I will probably have butterflies in my stomach because it's probably going to be the longest sort of 2 hours of my life. I just really hope we get a win. I think we're good enough to get a win. Neves back, fresh. We're just banking on players. If Bolly starts, players like him to have a stinker. But fingers crossed. It's good. We've got Steve Cooper on the podcast anyway.
When we was in Brussels, I kept doing this face that resembles Steve Cooper, but I can't do it when I'm laughing. I have to proper relax my face.
When Finn's talking, just do it.
I won't be able to keep my eyes open when he fucking talks. Only joking, mate. I love you dearly. Finn, would you bring Kwang back in for this game? Would you bring him in for Gedesh?
if he's not fit, it's the same as like Sarr, innit? Sarkic should be saying if he's only got one hand. Oh.
Yeah. I can't.
But no, yeah.
I'm just looking at Matt.
I can't
I've got
do
a
it,
picture. If not, Matt, do you want me to?
It's not even that good. It's just like a proper dopey face.
But yes, I would play a fully fit Hwang over someone if he is rumoured to be half fit. Good one for the audio listeners here.
Sorry. I'll use it as a thumbnail.
Hwang and Fin.
Yeah, if you've got a fully fit player, I would play him over a half fit player, whether that's Chem Campbell or Hwang. I think they both haven't done too badly in their little cameos recently.
Yeah, Dave, will we have a new manager by then?
I don't know, mate. I hope so. I wanted a new manager by today, to be honest. So I'm a bit, disappointed that we haven't. But I'm sure we'll talk about that some more. But yeah, I think he'll be announced by Saturday. Whether he'll be in charge for the game, I don't know.
I've seen so many tweets this week saying we all know what everyone wants, and that's Nuno back. I don't. Where's this come from? I mean, I'll ask all you boys. Jord, would you want Nuno back?
It's just his cult, in it, that they just want him back. They can't let him go. They can't let the good times go. And I feel like the Nuno era ended correctly at the right time. It was turning, but people just, I don't know what it is. Like, yeah, people generalising, we all want Nuno back. No, we don't. I don't want Nuno back. I'm sure no one on this podcast wants Nuno back. Thanks for the. Well, Matt, that's up to you, all right? You can if you want him back. You can.
Mate, I'm impartial.
You're impartial. That's something new, isn't it? No one wants. Like, who are these people? What circles they in? What WhatsApp groups they in? Where they're saying, "Oh, Nuno's the saviour." Like, again, another one. He's in Saudi Arabia. If he's any good, he'd still be in Europe managing. He's in Saudi Arabia. There you go. End of story. Bosh.
Dave?
No, I'm there. If we went down, I'd take him back in the championship, but not now.
I thought we weren't going down.
We're not going down, but just hypothetically.
Going down. No, we fuck. We're going. Fin?
I think if there was maybe a bit more, it feels a bit silly to have had like a one manager gap between him. Maybe in like 5 years, if it came as a nice.
You're justifying it.
You don't go back to next year. You don't do it.
Well, this is Finn Morris, you know.
I don't know if you would go back to next, but you just don't do it.
No, you don't. No, you don't. To be fair, but no, it's not. I don't see these people as insane. Like, if there's a thing there where that bloke's given them the best Wolves supporting time of their lives, there probably is a natural thing there. But no, I wouldn't look at him now. No, and
I do say never go back to an exo, don't they?
Yeah.
Without COVID, Nuno would still be our manager now.
Possibly.
No, I think it'd have gone a lot longer, a lot quicker. I think it'd have turned.
No, because before Project Restart, we would have been in Europe again.
No, because we bottled Project Restart anyway.
Yeah, but without that, as in, like, if COVID didn't happen, we carried on, we would have got Europe again.
If we got 3-2 at home to the Albion team with the full stadium, it wouldn't have made it at the car park.
No, we wouldn't.
I'm not even joking.
It'd been me and Jordan outside the Billy Wright.
Yeah, that Mourinho thing. Mourinho in the car park.
me, Matt, and Kev Wolf outside. Come on, get your fucking out.
Just howling. Oh, dearie me. Lads, Betmate Pot on Saturday is the 3 p.m. Saturday kickoff. So it's £2 in, and it's your chance to win a share of £400. Now, the games for the 3 p.m. are Fulham versus Bournemouth, and of course, Wolves versus Forest. So if I just get my team up now and I'll talk you through it. So I've gone with Jose Sarr in goal because I'm banking on him having two hands this week instead of one. Hopefully his hands out of plaster by then. I don't believe those rumours, by the way. I am joking. I'd be a bit concerned if he was. Then I've gone for Ryan Ait-Nouri because I think he'll come in. And I've gone for Smith at Bournemouth. Then my midfield two is Neves captain and Phil Billing, who's in a glut of form at the minute after Gary O'Neill's been in charge at Bournemouth. Then up top, I've gone for two absolute lumps. I've gone for Diego Costa and I've vice captain Alexander Mitrovic because I just feel like Costa's going to score on Saturday. It might be a consolation goal, but if at least get to see a goal. But that's my team again. May change depending on the lineups. You can change your Betmate team up until 5 minutes before kickoff, so that may change. Dave, talk me through yours, mate.
I would love to see a Diego Costa goal ending up by a red card after headbutting Willy Bolly or Morgan Gibbs White. By the way, that'd be tremendous.
Forest 1-0 up, by the way.
Oh, bloody hell.
Morgan Gibbs White assist.
Boy. My team, I've gone very heavy Wolves and Bournemouth. I've gone Sarr in goal, Smith and Semedo at the back. Billing in the midfield with Mateus Nunes. Oh, by the way, on the commentary I was listening to the match, it was Jackie Oatley, and she kept calling Mateus Nunes Mateus. She says, "Oh, by the way, he likes to be called Mateus." And I was like, "Oh, sound."
But is Mateus Nunes worth £45 million more than Conor Ronan? That is the question.
And up front, I've gone Dom Solanke with Adama Traore.
What's the thoughts behind Adama?
He's going to get an assist. Full stop.
You're a bit more positive than I am.
Yeah.
Finley Morris, talk me through your team.
Again, subject to change, but I've got Sarr in goal. 8 Nouri, that could be whether he's playing or not. Brennan Lodi, just because he's good on FIFA.
He's absolutely gassed. He's awful.
Yeah, he isn't looking great. So that probably will be subject to change. And it's probably a bit too varied, mighty. Like, you have to go one way or the other, don't you, to be up there. But yeah, I've got 1 Forest player, 1 Bournemouth, 1 Fulham. So I've got 4 Wolves. So the midfield is Billing. There's a bit all action. I know he's scoring recently, but also gets the tackles in, etc. Vice captain Nunes, and then I have the same 2 lumps, Mitrovic and Costa up front. So if Adama gets the assist, as Dave said, hopefully Costa's on the end of it. But again, subject to change. But I don't mind that team.
Yeah, I might have a change of heart. Like I said, you can change your team 5 minutes before the kickoff. So always good to see the teams come out and then make your changes based on that. Jord, you reckon you're going to get up there this week? Do you reckon you're in for a win?
I hope so, yeah. I got a little win yesterday, actually. On the.
Did you? Talk us through that before the team then. Come on, this is great news.
I had Odegaard. I had Jesus. I had Saka. I had... Who else did I have? I didn't have Salah. No, he didn't do anything anyway, did he?
Martinelli.
Can't think who else. No, I didn't have Martinelli. I had Gabriel Saliba. Ramsdale got some points, but I won £19.35. So,
nice. What have you spent it on?
Not the misses.
Let's.
I've actually had to go on the Forest Villa game tonight, and Morgan Gibbs White is my skipper, so that a little assist. I've got Dennis's voice as well, so I could be top. I'll have a look in a bit.
Love that. But
anyway,
I mean, you can. Did you put in the group chat that you won? I must have missed that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you must have been busy, mate. Preoccupied. I don't know. You seem busy at the minute, but hang on, that's for another podcast.
Whoa!
That's for another podcast. So I've gone.
Go on, then, mate. Talk me through the team. Is that a Castor hoodie, by the way?
Yeah, it's the wall, like an old one.
Give us a 12. Come on, stand up.
I'm not going to stand up. There you go.
It's George.
I know 12.
George, 12.
Get the shoulders in.
For people listening on Spotify, he's just pulled his pants down.
On camera. So I've gone for one-handed Sarr in goal. Semedo, Kilman, Mateus Nunes, captain. So I've been a bit of a mentalist here.
Mateus, to you.
Sorry, Jackie. Mateus. Palhinha, vice captain.
Nice.
Mitrovic and Cabano, because he ripped Johnny a new one the other week. And I feel like he's a decent little player. So I've gone heavy Wolves and Fulham, yeah.
I think the Palhinha shout's a great shout because he's like tackles.
He's a walking book, isn't he?
He's a little player, isn't he?
True. Maybe a double pivot of Billing and Palhinha might be the way to go. I might change that.
We united the Sport in Lisbon, boys, and we obviously brought the wrong one so far, haven't we?
Ooh. I've been impressed by him though. Palhinha. I think he's a good player, but he's just a bit of a snotter, isn't he?
We'll get him for half the price next year when they get relegated, anyway.
That's what I said to a Fulham fan at the start of the season. Oh boy. Let's talk new manager then. For about 5 minutes or so. Dave, what's the update, mate? What's going on? Steve Davis is going to get the job. We said we needed to beat Chelsea 3-0. So he's got to beat Forest 7 to get the job.
Yeah. Yeah, as it stands, it looks like Lopetegui's pretty much odds on, isn't it? I mean, you look at the bookies, I think the second favourite is Pedro Martins, and his odds are ridiculous now. So it's pretty much, odds on Lopetegui. And obviously, since our last podcast, he got sacked by Sevilla, which we pretty much expected after their defeat to Borussia Dortmund. I think it was already predetermined because he announced it as well in his post-match press conference. So I'm surprised taking Wolves a little bit. I wasn't expecting them to announce it on Thursday, but it said over the weekend that Jeff Shee had flown over to Spain alongside
to find a new head coach. He tries to walk the finger. No, there's got to be a tune in there somewhere.
Yeah, Jeff Shee went to Saudi to buy a Lamborghini. Came back with a head coach. His name was Nuno. George Mendes is there. So the rumours and reports in a minute, I saw straight away as soon as he was sacked, he said he wanted to spend some time with family. And now the latest thing is that he's spending time with his dad, who's in his 90s. So I don't know if his dad is ill, because that rumour's come about as well, and I don't know how true that is. So that's why things haven't accelerated too much. So I get it from both sides. Obviously, for him as a coach, he's worked, solidly for the last 3 or 4 years. He wants that little bit of downtime. But at the same time, from a Wolves point of view, can we afford to be losing time? So in an ideal world, I would have wanted a head coach to be in by today or tomorrow. That looks unlikely now. And it looks likely that we might not even have him on the touchline for Saturday. So, but I'm fairly certain our head coach will be Julian Lopetegui anyway.
I hope so. I'm quite happy and content with the appointment. Look, I know he's had a real tough time as of late in Sevilla, which is ultimately costing him his job. But one of, if not the most successful manager in their history. Had big players sold from under his nose and not really replaced this season. I think if any team loses the likes of Jules Koundé, then you're going to struggle, because he's fantastic. They lost Carlos as well, who's shite. But Finn, are you warming to the idea of Lopetegui? Would you be happy with it? Apart from Amorim, is there anyone else you'd like to give Wolves show? You know what I mean? Go talk.
Yeah. I was always warm to him. I haven't heated up anymore or cooled down any less. But no, I'm quite happy with that. I would, as you say, I would like to get him in as soon as possible. But I understand on that side of it, it's not as if. I mean, you wouldn't really be able to offer our medical team to help his dad out at the moment either. I think he's staying in Spain. So I think he might need a bit of time. But as you say, we've got crucial games coming up. Like, is it Forest, Palace? Is it Leicester then after that as well? You kind of want your manager in for those. Brentford, yeah. Quite happy with it just as soon as possible, really. I just say the only sort of things we're saying is will the formation work as we've seen it's similar to Bruno's in. Maybe not in style, but as in where the players are positioned, and it hasn't worked too well so far. But you can't argue with Spain, Real Madrid, European trophy-winning managers.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't great at Spain or Real Madrid, but Sevilla. But best defensive record in La Liga last season.
We love a defensive record, don't we? Yeah.
We need to tighten ours up though, because it's not been great this season. Well, so say this season, last 3 or 4 games, but those are the question marks around his philosophy, though, isn't it, Jord? We're not scoring goals, and his Sevilla team as of late haven't been scoring goals. Is it going to be what we need?
But we've been at our best in recent times when we have been pragmatic. To be fair, so I'm not too averse to going back to that sort of style. We've got good counter-attacking players. I feel like Mateus gives you legs in the midfield to be able to counter-attack. And, you've got Duby as well, who's going to come back and he'll give you some added legs as well. And I just feel like Tim Nash dropped that bomb yesterday that Jeff Shee's gone to Spain, and no one sort of questioned the fact he might have gone out there for IB for closing parties.
I reckon it's DC 10, I think, with Pedro Sepulveda.
Yeah, I heard she was at Ants tonight. That's what he's all in black. Ants.
Yeah, maybe. Do you reckon Jeff gets on it? Or?
Yeah, the rumor I heard was he's gone out to IB for closing parties, and we're getting Chris Wilder.
Nice. Always bringing back Wayne Lineker. He's bringing back Wayne Lineker for the job. All right, girls. Imagine him in charge. Oh dear. To be fair, some of the shouts that people have been suggesting, I think he'd probably be more likely to get Wayne Lineker than Thomas Tuchel or Pochettino. Someone did ask in the questions, and of course, we always appreciate the questions. But do you think that Tuchel or Pochettino is out of reach? I'd like to think so.
But if we get Wayne Lineker in, we can say gash of the day then as well.
Oh yeah, but like imagine like pre-season in IB for like Benidorm was good this season, but imagine it next season versus Ocean Beach All-Star 11. Definitely have Mark Wright at right back. Ollie Merce somewhere as well, but yeah, I feel like we've digressed a little bit. Gone from Lopetegui to Ocean Beach all-time best 11 in about a minute. But you expect, Dave, an announcement, or not expect because you know something, but you anticipate that it should all be wrapped up at some point this week?
I hope so, yeah. I reckon we'll have some more news Tuesday. I reckon in an ideal world, you want it done Wednesday, Thursday, whether it be in the dugout or not. But I think any sort of announcement is going to give him a big boost, I think, before a must-win game on Saturday.
It is must-win. It's must-win. We've got to win it, and for me, it's got to be convincing. Because I don't think you're gonna. I don't know. I mean, a win is obviously the most important thing, but I don't want to really be papering over the cracks. But without guidance and a new manager, how are the players meant to know any different? But we shall see. Before we go on to the questions, we are pleased to announce. We may have spoken about it last week on the podcast, but we will be doing the Molyneux sleep out this year. It didn't happen last year, did it? Or it did happen last year.
I think it did happen last year, but
I think it did.
Yeah.
So it didn't happen if we weren't there.
Well, pretty much. If we're not there, but Finn, Dave, and I, and potentially Jord, if he can get his arse into gear, we'll be doing the Molyneux sleep out on the 18th of November. Are you in Antigua, George, at the time?
Yeah, I'm flying back that day, so I will be in the time zone, I guess, of staying up all night, but going from like 24 degrees to 8 degrees with jet lag.
8 degrees. I think it's going to be colder than that.
Yeah,
much.
maybe it'll be colder than that. And with your 3 company as well, I might just go to bed.
Like you said on the last podcast, charity starts at home. But it is the funds are shared between the Wolves Foundation and the Good Shepherd charity, who provide food and support in the Wolverhampton area. So we're trying to get to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, £300.
Yeah. Ideally, I'd like to raise that sort of money. Yeah.
So £100 each. And we're currently on about £40. So if you could donate, that'd be absolutely fantastic. And we do appreciate the support. And it's for a good cause. I don't actually own a sleeping bag either. So if anyone's willing to let me borrow one, that'd be great. Because otherwise, I'm going to be coming in my combi border jacket.
A link, obviously, to donate will be in the description as well.
Yeah. I was going to get there, mate. Let me finish.
Sorry.
Yeah, the link will be in the description so you can donate. And it'd be good to see some of you there as well. I know a lot of people on Twitter are already seeing. We'll be doing it. I'm sure the likes of Manny will be there as well. Hopefully he's got some samosas and stuff to keep us warm. You boys have done it before, haven't you?
Yeah, me and Finn did it, yeah. We didn't actually sleep, did we, Finn?
I don't think I maybe got half an hour. Yeah. Now the tactic. I don't. To be fair, I don't really want to give this away, but maybe people aren't doing.
It's not a competition, mate. It's a charity.
I know what he's going to say. Go on.
Yeah, in the North Bank, obviously, there's the padded seats at the back. So our tactic to begin with was go and bag the padded seats so you're a little bit comfier, and then we sacked it in after about an hour. It wasn't much.
Yeah, well, I was asleep, and then you lot woke me up.
Yeah,
so I did fall asleep. To be fair.
So what is the tactic?
Get the padded
I don't
seats.
know what the meta is this time, but in the concourse, I don't know.
Defensive line. Yeah. L1 triangle through balls.
So do you reckon sleep in the concourse?
The pitch heaters were on last time. You could sneak under them, maybe. Don't know.
You can't get on the pitch, though, can you?
No, unfortunately not.
No.
Just look at it.
Questions. So thanks for those who sent their questions in this week on Twitter. So we'll start with Liam Bagnall, who has been listening to the podcast and supporting Talking Wolves ever since we created it. So thanks, I suppose. According to recent articles, one of Lopetegui's downfalls is creating chances and also slow build-up play. Dave, does that worry you at all?
Not so much a slow build-up play. I don't dislike that. Obviously, creating chances is a little bit of a worry because we can't hit a barn door anyway at the minute. So, yeah, that's something that does worry me. But yeah, I think most managers would struggle to get a goal out of this team, to be honest. So I just think the overall sort of new manager bounce hopefully is going to be enough to get us off and running this weekend.
Jord, I know I pretty much already asked you this question earlier, but Finn, is that something that worries you?
Yeah, especially when you marry that up with our squad. Yeah, if you're not creating many chances and we have one of the lowest chance conversion rates in the league, that might have been down to like previous tactics of where we were shooting from. As I said last week, was from the furthest out in the league. So maybe we've got to give him a bit more credit. But on the face of it, yeah, if you're not creating many and you've got a squad that aren't clinical, it's not great. But we'll see. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I follow some Everton fan on Twitter, and he does like a hot take, but he's very much into his statistics and data analysis. And he's quote tweeted the tweet from Madeley saying, "Wall set to sound out Lopetegui." And his quote tweet is, and I don't want to worry you, fits the Wolves' DNA like a glove, 700 passes and creating nothing. So that's positive. Moving on, Matt has asked, do you believe we have enough quality in forward areas to get us out of trouble? Recent seasons, our defence have kept us in games. We've nicked games where we had goal. I don't think we can do that this season. George, I'll come to you on that, mate.
Again, it's one of those things, isn't it? What I said earlier on in this podcast, it's we as fans feel we're a better team than what we're seeing. I think the players feel like they're a better team than they are as well. So we need to start seeing it now. You can only rest on your laurels so long, and we've got to start beating teams. And like, I feel like I felt it for a few seasons. I haven't felt it this season though, but we're always going to like batter someone. Like someone's going to get a battering because how well we played and how intricate we were, and just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. But that's confidence has left me a little bit now. So something's got to change. I hope that Raul finds his pre-injury form when he comes back, or when he comes back. That again could be after the World Cup. And look, we're relying on Diego Costa to get us goals. And as sharp as he looked against West Ham, I don't really think he was. Well, I mean, he was in the game against Chelsea, but the guy ain't kicked a ball for 9 months professionally. How many goals realistically do you think he's going to get from now to the end of the season? Like, I think if he gets 10, it's brilliant, to be honest with you.
Oh, man, what a return. Well, didn't Jimenez only get like 11th or 13 in his best ever season?
No, he scored 17.
17 Premier League goals?
Mm-hmm. The Europa League, yeah, he scored 17.
Bloody hell. It's unbelievable.
Mad.
But the wide players are going to start scoring, aren't they? To add that, sorry. The wide players are going to
yeah.
whether it's in your arms and everyone else presents more.
Finn, obviously you're in the pocket of the Jimenez family. Have you heard anything? Put you on the spot.
No, I haven't actually. I should text him and see. But no, I haven't actually.
That means he's starting on Saturday.
Yeah. But if you do play FPL, put him in your team.
No, he benched all his Wolves players this weekend, so he wasn't confident. But, oh well. Didn't have any confidence in Pedence and someone else that he had. But no, he's not in his own team as of yet, so I don't think he's starting. I haven't asked any of the questions. But no, it would be nice, as you say, to get him back. I think I saw a thing the other day. He was like 3rd or 4th for goals and assists that season in like the whole of the top divisions of Europe. He was like 3rd or 4th. It was 40-something contributions.
Ridiculous.
So, yeah.
That helps though when you're playing Europa League conference qualifiers games or end of April.
Yeah.
That was that season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was class that year, though. It was so good. Adrian has asked, who's better, Kundal or Hodge? Dave?
I think it's quite hard to say at this point. I think Kundal's like more sort of first team ready. Hodge is good, though. Like, Hodge is just, ever since he joined Wolves, struggled with injuries. As soon as he's like snapped out of his injuries and broken into the 21s, 23s, he's been really, really good. So, yeah, I think a first team appearance was fully deserved for him. But even Luke Kundal, he started really well in the championship, I think. So I think it's hard to say. I think Kundal's probably just slightly ahead of him at the minute, but Hodge is playing really well consistently so far.
Luke Kundal also flicked the V's at the Albion fans as well. So for me, Luke Kundal. Finn, who do you think's better?
It's tough on the. I haven't seen Kundal play for. Yeah, I haven't seen him play for Swansea, but I've only really seen the cameos. like that Newcastle game, and then 21. So it's hard to judge like Cundle in the Championship versus Hodge in the 23s. It's a different level. But I was really impressed with Hodge's little cameo, I think. So I might lean towards him, but yeah, I'd need to see more to give a firm
Yeah, I'll trust what Tim Spears says as well, and he thinks he's the best
Good point.
footballer to ever live. So
Yeah.
who knows? Jord, Cundle, Hodge.
I think you've got to go Cundle, haven't you, for what we've seen. I thought Hodge was... What I will say about Hodge on the weekend was he didn't shy away or shirk away from it, did he? He kept demanding the ball. And he was neat, he was tidy. Didn't really do anything wrong. I thought Cundle really impressed me, that Spurs away game last year, though, for his debut. I thought he was really, really good. So I've got to go for Cundle for now, anyway.
Cool. Wayne has asked, how real do you guys feel relegation is, and what would your score be out of 10 in terms of 0 not being relegated, 10 already down? Start with you, Dave.
It's a -4. Yeah, I go with that.
Let's go 4.
Oh, that's higher than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's 4. Let's say 4. Yeah.
I'm not trying to.
We're saying 10 is like, yeah, definitely down, and 0
yeah.
is like 100% staying up. I'll say 4.
Finn?
I was going to say 3. I was thinking about 2, but I was going to say 3. But now if Dave's saying 4,
It's got to be a 7, surely.
Yeah. No, I'll stick with 3. I'll stick with 3.
Jord?
I'm a 6 at the minute.
Oh my
God.
God. Oh.
The only reason for that is... can I just say why? Because people are going to say I'm like wetting my pants and all that sort of stuff. But I feel like we don't score goals. I think we've got every recipe for teams that go down. And I feel like with this World Cup break, if we're in the bottom 3, going into like a 5-6 week break, that is horrible. I think it's the worst possible time to have a break. Like, you don't want to be sitting in that for that sort of period of time, just twiddling your thumbs, basically thinking about it. So the next 4 games are really, they are big. And I'm petrified, like I said, about Forest. So if we beat Forest, that 6 will probably go down to a 2 or a 3, to be honest with you. But at the moment, you know, I've followed Wolves long enough to have the heartbreak. I know what could happen.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're on 6 points now. If you get another couple of wins, you know, you're comfortable in mid-table then. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
What's your score then, Matt?
Next question is from Rebel 2. Do you think our squad is too soft? I haven't seen any fighting them for a couple of years now. Dave, do you think the squad is too soft?
Maybe this year. I wouldn't say a couple of years, because we said it last year. Even in pre-season, it was just like the weird, dirty side that came out of the players, and it was like just little spats with opposition players and stuff. So I think there's fight there. But this season, yeah, I don't know what's happened. They don't look up for it. They don't look arsed this year, to be fair. No. And that's something that needs to change with whoever comes in. And, you know, we talk about, I think some of that comes into the fitness thing as well. We said earlier, I don't think some of the players look fit. And it's up to the new head coach to get these players in shape and get a team that wants to fight and play football and win football matches.
Fight and win.
Yeah.
Final question before we round the show off was from Merrick. And I'll come to you first, Jord, and then I'll ask you two as well. Is the problem for players mental and confidence, or is it purely a lack of system instructions?
I think it could be confidence. I think it could be a factor, all of that mixed together, to be honest with you. I think there is a confidence thing, 100%. You saw that when the first goal went in against Chelsea. Confidence is devoid in that team completely. Tactics, system, we've only really switched from a 5 to a 4 at the back, and we haven't really been playing that much more progressive front foot football than what we were under Nuno and Bruno last season. So for me, I do think it's confidence, but again, I'll keep going back to it. Are we as good as what we think we are? Like fans think the team is? I'm starting to really doubt that, because I thought we had a fan. You know, we've all been saying it's the best squad we've ever had in our lifetimes, but is it? Because actually, application-wise on the field, it's anything but. You know, there's been versions of Wolves teams even. Well, even, you know, I'm thinking about that McCarthy team when we come up to the Premier League with Cartley Jarvis and William Evans back. They'd give this team a tatering at the minute. I generally think that. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of mix. There's a lot of facets to add to that.
Finn, is it confidence or is it inept tactics from manager?
I think the Chelsea game was given. I kind of wanted to see if it was system and instructions, and as you've heard the murmurs from the players weren't happy with training or certain tactics with Bruno. I think we would have seen maybe a bit more of a, I don't know, let's prove him wrong, or like more fight in the Chelsea game. So maybe it is a little bit more the confidence side than I thought, because I know it's a tough game, like Stamford Bridge, like it's a tough one to then silence all the critics or whatever, or show that it was Bruno that was a problem. Maybe we'll see that more this weekend, but I am leaning more now towards the confidence side of things than them just absolutely hating what Bruno was telling them to do. And there obviously was faults in the system and the instructions as well, and we may see, as I say, may see that more this weekend, but probably more than ever, I'm now thinking it may be more the mental side of it, unfortunately.
Dave? Mental confidence or lack of instruction?
I think it's a bit of both. I think, it's different. I think confidence is always a big one. You know, when you're not scoring goals, you know, you're going to finish every game thinking, oh, what can we do to win? But this is the job of the head coach. A good head coach will get the 110% out of the players. And that's why, to bring him up again, Mick McCarthy, who had probably, such a gash squad, used to always be able to get 110% out of the players, and that's the reason we stayed up for 2 of the 3 years that we did, I think. So we need a head coach. Lopetegui's got to come in and get some belief back in these players, and fingers crossed we can start scoring some goals and getting some wins.
Hopefully. Well, I think that's a nice point to wrap the podcast up. Just some other news before we do close. So a nice bit of news for Dave and I, and of course for the rest of the Talking Wolves team. So Dave and I will actually be hosting an evening with Jolie and Lescott at the newly refurbished Hollybush in Penn on Thursday the 3rd of November, and that's in association with Carling and Marston's under their Local Legends event. So tickets are £10 and all proceeds will be donated to Compton Care. Not only that, you'll also get a free pint of Carling with your ticket. So Dave and I will be hosting that. I'll be asking Jolien questions about his time at Wolves and his various other clubs, and might even ask him what happened with that tweet when he posted a picture of his brand new Mercedes. We'll see whether that one gets approved. But yeah, should be good, and hopefully see some of you there. You can buy tickets using the link in the description. But yeah, it's really nice to be asked, and it's one I'm definitely looking forward to. I know Dave, you are as well, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, a little bit nervous. I think this is our first big sort of hosting gig as such. So a little bit nervous, but yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. But yeah, I've already had a few messages of people that have bought tickets. So yeah, anyone else that wants to come along, free pint of Carling. Who says no? Most people.
Exactly, free pint of Carling. I wish it was Madry. No, I'm only messing. Carling is fine. I think they're both Molson cores anyway. I know Marston's, isn't it, Carling? So yeah. So hopefully some of you can get some tickets and get down there. Like I said, all proceeds will be donated to Compton Care. And if it does go well, Dave and I'll be available for like birthdays and stuff if anyone needs anything. Dave can manipulate a mean balloon Labrador as well. So if anyone needs his services. Dave, where can people find you should they wish to follow you?
At Dave as a party on Twitter and Instagram, and watching YouTube tutorials on how to do a balloon Labrador, by the sounds of it.
Question on the Instagram.
Yeah, always public, mate.
Always public.
I
went public early for about 3 minutes and then regretted it and gone back to private. But Finn, where can people find you should they wish? Are the vlogs making a return anytime soon?
I said that last week. I filmed for Chelsea as well, and we had like Bully on the coach, so I got some good content. But I mean, there was just nothing there to really actually make a video out of. But hopefully now, if we not with what we've been saying with Lopetegui, doesn't sound like we're scoring many goals to be very entertaining. But hopefully, yeah. And that's Finners on YouTube, Finley Morris on LinkedIn. Didn't plug myself last week. So that's FINLEY. It's an E. But no, yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I actually got quite a few connection requests last week on LinkedIn, and a few people had liked Talking Wolves on there, so big appreciation for that. Perhaps that's the new channel that we push. We do actually need to post some content on there. But Jord, LinkedIn regular, proper humble bragger. Today I worked with a homeless person and gave him £100, and now I've employed him, and he's now our best salesman. Where can people find you, mate?
Sounds like me, to be fair. That's what I'll do this week, actually. Who knows? No, so Jord7 Twitter, Instagram, Jordan Russell on LinkedIn for anyone who wants to professionally connect.
Sounds like a lonely hearts column. I am a man looking for a bubbly lady who enjoys long walks. Jesus Christ. I'm M Cooper Wright on Twitter and Instagram if you want to request to follow me. And Matthew Cooper on LinkedIn, should anyone want to connect with me professionally. We are at Talking Wolves across all socials. That's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and of course the most important one, LinkedIn. Don't forget the Betmate pot on Saturday, 3 p.m. Saturday kickoffs. Fulham, Bournemouth, Wolves, Forest. £2 in for your chance to win the share of £400. And if you sign up using our link in the description, you'll get £5 in free bets once you place a cash bet. With all that, of course, please gamble aware. If you've liked the video, let us know. If you're new here, subscribe. Leave your comments in the down below. See you all next week. Bosh.